Hi, my name is Molly Hanson. This is my mother, Pam Hanson. Today we're going to be making blondies, as we affectionately call them in our family, Concord brownies. I have started by preheating the oven to 350, and we're going to get our driest mix, which is flour, baking powder, and salt. My mom will take you through the wets and the creaming of those. So if you want to show them the wets.
Okay, and first I'm going to add the sugar. And I'm going to then add the butter. That'll come out. And next the oil. And I do a trick. The next thing to go in after this is the molasses. And I always use the same little measure for the molasses and the oil, and you'll see why in a minute. This is 1/4 cup. I'm just sort of slightly underdoing it in here. But with the oil already in the cup, the molasses just pours right out. And you almost don't even have to work at getting it into the pan. Now that we have all the ingredients into the container, into the mixer, I'm going to turn it on. Okay, this is nicely mixed now. I'm going to add in the eggs one at a time and while I mix.
The oil and the buttercream slightly differently than, say, straight butter. It's not going to get the same volume that butter would get. But that's going to lead to a moister, sort of denser blondie.
Okay, now I'm going to just push down from the edges to make sure everything's down in there. And next I'll be adding the vanilla. Okay. Now all of our wet ingredients are mixed and they're ready for the dry ingredients. And I usually just add it all at once. I know you can, if you feel more comfortable dividing it into 2 batches, go ahead. This is such a moist batter that it works just fine to add it all at the same time. I'm going to mix this until it's just the dough looks very even in the pan before I put in the nuts and the chocolate. Just about done. Now I'm going to just clear off the batter from the beaters, and then I will add in the nuts and the chocolate. Okay, now we have everything mixed in there except for our nuts and our chocolate, and we're ready for them. I have saved out a fair amount of the toppings to put over the top of the brownie because I like it to look really, really rich and really, really treaty. And so I'm going to mix all that in and all this in. And that has to be mixed just enough so that it gets mixed through. And that's a lot of additions to the dough, so it takes a little elbow grease to get it all mixed in. This is the point where everybody wants to eat it, but you're not supposed to do that anymore.
It's fine.
Now we're ready to get it into the pan.
So the pan has been sprayed with pan spray, and we have lined it with parchment, which is actually something we stole from another how-to hero and is a very nice trick. The blondie has the nuts and the chocolate chips on top and sort of a crinkly top. So being able to lift it out without flipping it out really helps with cutting it nicely.
Right.
This is sort of a chocolate chip cookie batter that's going to collapse a little bit and give you that brownie texture while it's sort of tasting a little bit more like a chocolate chip cookie.
Wow, I think that's more chocolate chips than I even usually put in it. And then I just do this as evenly as possible on top. I try not to miss the edges because then people get preferences as to which piece they're going to have, and I get in trouble.
At Christmas sometimes we doll them up with a little bit of drizzled chocolate along the top, but usually we just eat them like this.
Well, I think that looks chocolatey enough.
Yeah. So this is going to go into a 350 oven. We're going to bake between 25 and 35 minutes. It really depends on your oven. We have a convection, so it goes a little faster. What you're looking for is a nice golden brown on top. We joke that it's a little bit more like a brunette than a blondie. It will puff up a little bit, and if you did a toothpick test, it comes out with a little bit of batter on it. It should not be totally done. With this recipe, much better to be underdone than overdone.
Right.
If it's overdone, it's much less special, and if it's underdone,
It's
people still
yummy.
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is our beautifully done blondie. You can see it's nicely brown on top. It has fallen a little bit since it's come out of the oven. This one has been out of the oven for perhaps about 3 hours. One of the ways I test to see if it's ready to cut is I lightly touch the chocolate chips or a chocolate chip to make sure that it's not still melted. It's almost set, and these ones are just right. So I'm going to loosen it with my bench knife.
Perfect.
Lifts out nicely. Now, in our house, we like to cut these very small because they're very rich. You can cut them whatever size you want. These ones, I think I will cut into, what do you want? 12s? 24s?
There.
12s too scandalous?
Do it 12. I can always cut them in half.
They're very rich. So there you are, ready to eat. Still slightly gooey.
And a little bit warm.